Look at that view. I'm gonna go nice and slow. Look at that. With the sun there. Doesn't that look like something out of Africa? Why do people want to go to Africa? They can just come right here. One more view before we get watching the world burn, November 17th, 2024. Let's get into it. You know, every time I think, oh yeah, you know, the world's looking up. I was going to make this video. I thought, you know, I'm going to present a bunch of good news to everybody, you know. Then all of a sudden, Biden authorizes deep missile strikes into Russia. Now, Russia has already come out and said that's a red line. That is a red line. Now, everybody says, oh, they've crossed many red lines before. No, we've never crossed any of Russians' red lines. These are red lines that your fake media has put out and said that these were Russian red lines. And another thing your media won't tell you is what this really means. This is the United States attacking Russia. Understand that, okay? How would you feel if Russia started with their submarines right off the coast, which we might see, launching missiles into the United States, okay? Those missiles are not being launched by Ukraine. They can only be programmed by US soldiers or contractors, or if you want to call them mercenaries, I don't care what you want to call them. And also that targeting data comes from US satellites. Okay? So this is Russia. The warmongering Democrats have just declared war on Russia.
Under Joe Biden, the world has become vastly more dangerous, and there is no greater danger than the deadly menace of nuclear weapons and hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles move at many times the speed of sound and 6 times faster than current missiles. Armed with nuclear weapons, they could annihilate entire cities and even countries within minutes. And we cannot let this happen. If you take a look right now, the nuclear word is being mentioned all the time. This is a word that you're not allowed to use. It was never used during the Trump administration, but now other countries are using that word against us because they have no respect for our leadership. World War III would be a catastrophe unlike any other. This would make World War I and World War II like very small battles. The best way to ensure that such a conflict never happens is to be prepared with unmatched technology and unrivaled strength. To this end, when I'm commander-in-chief, which we did an awfully good job at rebuilding our military, we rebuilt the entire military. Once again, I will work with Congress and our great military leaders, not the ones you see on television. I don't consider them leaders. But we're going to work with them to build a state-of-the-art, next-generation missile defense shield. Just as Israel is now protected by the Iron Dome, a dream once thought impossible, America must have an impenetrable dome to protect our people. We worked with Israel to develop that dome. They relied on us, not just them, they relied on us. We have technology that's unsurpassed, but our past leaders haven't really wanted to use it. I rebuilt our military at a level that nobody thought possible, but we have to now go that further step. We must be able to defend our homeland, our allies, and our military assets around the world from the threat of hypersonic missiles, no matter where they are launched from. Our adversaries must understand that they, not the United States, will be totally destroyed if they ever dared to launch missiles against our homeland. The Space Force, which was inaugurated under my leadership, will have a very vital role to play. It was such an important thing we did. The Democrats fought us all the way, but we got it passed. First time in 79 years, a new force. Just as I rebuilt our military, especially our nuclear capabilities, I will build the shield to defend America from missile attack. We will have a peace through strength. And that's what we had. And we had no wars during the Trump administration. We had no wars. Remember that. Because we were strong. The other side knew it. And they didn't want to play games. They didn't want to mess around. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, I thought I was going to be talking about good news. And oh, by the way, so let's get to the next story, because you can go up on X, there's everybody talking about these long-range missiles, maybe not in the right way, you know, explaining what it really means. Oh, we authorized Ukraine. We didn't authorize Ukraine, nothing. These are U.S. personnel launching U.S. missiles into Russia. Oh, they might come from Ukraine, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe some will come from Romania. And then we can watch Romania cease to exist. My God. And then, of course, keeping going on the Ukraine war, Russia just launched, I want to say it was 160 missiles, and I think it was 90 drones. And man, they blew the hell out of Ukraine's energy infrastructure.
Ukraine's energy minister reports mass power outages across the country after Russian missiles struck infrastructure in major cities Sunday morning. For more details, let's cross live now to RT senior correspondent Murad Gaziev. Murad, what more can you tell us?
Well, this is the largest combined airstrike carried out by Russia since late August. In 3 months, the largest strike. Ukraine has come out, President Zelensky, and has claimed that Russia launched 90 drones as well as 120 missiles of different types, including hypersonic missiles, Zircon, as well as Kinjal, at targets all over Ukraine. The entire country had air sirens wailing for almost 5 hours. We understand that sites all over the country were hit. Russian missiles generally fly along imprecise or very strange, what may seem very strange trajectories, whereby they outfly Ukrainian defenses, come into Ukrainian cities from different sides in order to confuse air defenses. But ultimately, of course, we won't know the exact results, the specifics of what was hit for some time yet. It is, of course, punishable by jail sentences in Ukraine if anyone were to photograph or to publish details of what had been struck. Nevertheless, the Ukrainian president, as well as different officials, have come out and claimed that Russia has again struck energy infrastructure, according to them, exclusively. This is unlikely to be true. It is exactly what they claimed last time in late August during a mass strike then, but it turned out that Russia had struck command and control centers. They had struck warehouses, production facilities, as well as air defense installations all over Ukraine, in addition to energy distribution, generation, transmission infrastructure. In Ukraine, infrastructure which Russia claims fuels the Ukrainian war machine. Now, Zelensky has claimed that his country has shot down, out of the 200-odd air targets that he claims were launched, that they shot down 140. This is unlikely to be true. Practice has shown that Ukraine often exaggerates its successes in air defense, but nevertheless, this is the largest strike in 3 months, and the fear in Ukraine is that this might be followed up with another strike on already weakened targets all over Ukraine.
RT correspondent Murad Gaziev. Murad, thank you.
Now, I want you to, those of you who live up north, even in North Carolina, for example, think about what this winter is going to be like if you don't have electricity. You think the Ukraine people are going to do okay this winter? Oh, hell no. Not only will we have a mass migration a lot of people probably are going to freeze to death unless we can end this war real quick. That was another stupid thing. Zelensky came out and said, I don't know his exact words. It's something like, you know, we are our own independent nation and, you know, we will negotiate when we deem it necessary. Oh, yeah. If we cut off funding to Ukraine, it would cease to exist in 2 minutes, man. I mean, you know, so yeah, they're real independent, all right. Now, maybe Europe's going to continue to fund them. I don't know. But I'm telling you, this is getting crazy. And of course, Russia's advancing everywhere along the front lines. And I can't believe, you know, every time I look at the military summary channel or some of the other assessments and everything, and I hear I just get my numbers from the Russian military, the Ministry of Defense, and man, it seems like thousands of Ukrainians are dying each day, and I don't see how could so many keep dying and they keep the war up? And also, I can't believe, even with NATO giving them everything they got, I mean, you know, that is one thing Russia has done, you know, that they've taken all the weapons out of NATO and destroyed them all or captured them all. You know, if you ever look in Moscow, I bet they're going to have parades for years and years to come of NATO equipment going down, assuming we don't all die. Because if you know, those long-range missile strikes, that's nuclear war, baby. We are teetering on the brink. Oh my God, what the hell's wrong with the Democrats? Why do they want war so much? Why are they such warmongering fools? Somebody please explain it to me. I don't understand it. You know, and then they cry about the stupidest things. Oh my God, there's so many stories to go into. What was it? The other one was, what else? There was something else about Ukraine. Maybe I'll get back to it. Then we get Biden goes down to Peru to meet with Xi, the Chinese leader, if you didn't know. And I got 2 videos, if I can find them, and it was humiliating. Once again, so when Biden gets off the plane, I mean, there's nobody there you know, to greet him, you know, there's no red carpet or anything like that. Same with when he gets back on the plane from after the meeting with Xi and everything. And then I got these videos. Watch this with Biden. I mean, he's in the back row. They can't even find him. Watch this.
Ministro.
All right, so I got that video for sure, and then hopefully I found the second one. You saw both of them. But because I wanted to show you him boarding the plane with nobody around. Now, when Xi got there, if I can find a video, man, it was trumpets, you know, military personnel lining the runway. You know, the limo rolls up. I mean, the leader of Peru and other leaders are there to greet him. I mean, it was like, holy shit. I mean, you would have thought he was the emperor of Peru. Oh, man. And then, of course, Biden did visit the Amazon rainforest, and he did point out that they're losing like two or three football fields of forest. Like, I don't know, it's like every day or something like that. And, you know, it's terrible what's happening. I mean, but Brazil really needs to step up to the plate, or we need to help them. I mean, if we wanted to really, instead of having 800 military bases around the world, why don't we go help Brazil, you know, so that they won't destroy the rainforest? You understand, that's the best place on the planet to absorb all the carbon dioxide. And yet the Democrats, they don't care. Although Biden was the first president to visit, but who cares? I mean, you know, you hear any other Democrats talking about the Amazon rainforest? Hell no. The next story was, I'm just going to keep bouncing around, was Trump at the what do they call it? The WWIII or whatever I don't know what it's called, but the fighting championships. And Elon Musk was there, and it was funny because I got this clip from CNN. They were talking about how these are the emperors of Rome and the gladiators I mean, what is wrong with the media? They always got to be negative about everything. Man, that was a hell of a fight. Speaking of fight, well, anyway, let's watch that CNN clip right now.
He's flooded the zone with these picks and forced Republicans to choose. And I think it's interesting to me that he brought Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. to the UFC event last night. He is, frankly, giving, I think, supporter-based permission structure, and he's made these folks stars over the course of this campaign. I mean, in some ways, it's easy to view this, I think, through a different lens. Like, this is also just a person who won following through on campaign promises. He promised retribution, he promised vengeance, and he promised these kind of figures having prominent places in this administration, and he's delivering it. And for a lot of those supporters, that is the point of the Trump vote. And so I don't think that's the fullness of the electorate we saw on Tuesday. I think for a lot of people, they backed Trump probably as a rejection of the administration and weren't thinking of this as an endorsement of every single thing he's talked about. But for the hardcore base, the folks he listens to the most, they voted for Trump for the purposes of RFK Jr. riling the big pharma, right? And so what they are going to force those Republican senators to do is make a choice on those calls, and they will be doing so with the backing of the electorate. I don't think we could just say that they won't get through. I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, and it really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum, and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate.
For sure.
Like, not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
And are any of us surprised by this? I feel like for anybody who has been covering Trump's campaign or his movement the past few years, these picks, sure, they're raising eyebrows, to say the least, but
they're familiar characters.
Yes, exactly. They've been with him at all these rallies. They've played a key role in where he's at now.
Yeah. All right, so we got that. So then we get to the Foreman versus, I can't remember the other guy's name. I'll put it up above. And I stayed up. Unfortunately, I stayed up that night to watch that fight because I thought it was going to be an actual fight. And so, but you know what? I should have known when Netflix was putting it on that it was going to all be a lie. That wasn't a fight. That was an exhibition. That was kind of like, remember in the movie Rocky when he went up against Hulk Hogan? And well, in that case, Hulk Hogan threw him out of the ring. But then Rocky came back and they went at it kind of for real for a little bit. There was nothing real about that Foreman fight whatsoever. That was the biggest joke. And you know, we should have known that they lie. If they just said, hey, we're going to have, you know, the female fight, you know, what should have been the big fight. I mean, those two ladies, they, oh my God, I'll get their names. Maybe I can find a clip or two. I mean, they beat the ever-living crap out of each other, man. Blood was everywhere. Holy moly, I haven't seen a fight like that since Foreman versus Ali. And that should have been the main event. That should have been the main event, not Foreman and the other guy. That should have just been, you know, we're going to do this for charity. It's going to be an exhibition. And they could have said, you know, that it was, I mean, and you got to give Foreman, I mean, I'm not dissing Tyson. You know, I mean, you got to think, even if you're faking it for that many rounds, you know, his legs weren't working hardly at all. And I'm sure he was damn tired. This is crazy. This wasn't here the last time I was here. You got to see this. Look at that. This was in water here before. Doesn't that look like a gator right over there? Hopefully I'm getting it on the camera. It's kind of hard to do. Huh. Wow. All right, sorry about that. I've hiked this trail many times and I'm like, well, where the hell did this come from? Oh my gosh. And then I'm hoping it don't get dark on me, man. I tell you, you don't want to be out here. This is gator country, man. and you don't want to be moving around in gator country at night. I can tell you that right now. Where was this? So I was talking about the fight, but the main event was those two women. And if you want to go back and watch that, I highly recommend it. I mean, I was cringing. I was like, oh my God. They just beat the shit out of each other. It was brutal, man. That was a hell of a fight. And, you know, a couple of the fight before that was when the two men went at it. That was another good fight. All right, so enough on Tyson versus the other guy. I was just so pissed off. Number one, I didn't get any damn sleep. And number two, what a joke. What a joke. It was all a lie. That's all the freaking media does. That's all Netflix does. Any of these woke channels, man, they all lie. Pisses me the heck off. So, well, we hit Peru. We hit the fight. Let me see. I'm sure there's some other stories. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the cabinet picks just a little bit. So, a little more information there. You know, one of the things I'm real concerned about is that Trump is really stacking his cabinet with Zionists. And I talked about that in a previous video. So, you know, right now, Trump said he's going to increase the sanctions on Iran. Well, that's the word anyway. Are you kidding me? Oh, we've already got sanctions on Iran. It ain't going to do no damn good. All their oil, they're selling oil to China. The whole world's buying their products out of Iran. Russia's getting drones from Iran. I mean, do you think that any more Western sanctions are going to do any damn good against Iran? I mean, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. But I mean, it beats better than bomb Iran. I hope to God Trump don't listen to all of his cabinet that all want to bomb Iran. Holy moly, you talk about a lot of dead Americans. Our bases will go up in flames in Iraq, Qatar, all over the Middle East, Syria. All those guys are dead, and women, of course, you know, or they, his, her. Yeah, I guess they're all going to die for sure if they bomb Iran. Which, God, and thank God, I tell you that, I cannot believe in the first administration that Trump had Bolton in there. That Bolton guy, he's a bigger lunatic than Lindsey Graham. I mean, my God. I can't imagine. Well, you know, like Trump said, he says, well, Bolton just, in the meetings, he would scare the hell out of any foreign dignitaries that might be in the meeting. Yeah, he would scare the hell out of me. Good God, if somebody like that ever got into a position of power, can you imagine? The world would cease to exist, for sure. All right, so anyway, getting back to the cabinet now, there is a rumor going around because you know, they're saying, you know, Tulsi's, she's going to be in a tough spot. She's one of the only anti-war people in the Trump administration. Now she's in a real good position because she's going to be informing Trump on everything. She's in a real good position to keep us out of war. But she lacks the, she doesn't know where all the secrets are buried, you know, and who to trust and who not to trust. Now, I wanted to get you to the rumor. Rumor is Flynn might come in underneath her. But a lot of people say that that's not going to be a good fit. Her and Flynn working together. I guess, and I don't know why. I like General Flynn. I think he's okay. Some of the things he says I don't agree with. But, and I don't know why people are saying that he wouldn't get along with Tulsi very well. But anyway, because he knows where everything's buried. All the secrets are. He knows who's who and what's what. And they're going to be scared if Flynn actually goes in underneath her to advise her on, you know, things that she may not know about. Now, don't get me wrong, Tulsi's, she's been in the military, she's been to war and back. She's no fool, she knows a lot. The other good news was the Treasury appointment, cabinet appointment. I don't know if you knew, it's a billionaire, can't remember his name, but I was listening to Glenn Beck, and there was a woman on, she was talking about him. She said he is smart as a tack, probably too smart. And that they may do like a shadow Fed against the Fed because, you know, that's a private company and Trump can't fire Powell over there, you know, at the Fed. So, and, you know, and the good news is he really knows currencies, everything. So he could be the person to lead us out of the coming financial crisis because we are 8 times more set for a financial crisis than we were in 2008. I don't know if you knew that. So, but with the good, somebody in charge like him, you know, he may be able to invent a whole new currency. Maybe he'll convert us over to XRP or Bitcoin or Doge. I love the fact the Department of Efficiency or whatever, Department of Government Efficiency. The other thing, I forgot to back you to the fight for just a second, was they were pointing out that Elon had this necklace on, and it was like a circle around an eye, and that's a symbol that, you know, he's by and for the people against the elite. And so he was. They say it was like a virtue signaling to the elite that they're no longer in charge. Speaking of virtue signaling, Trump, you know, I know he's fearless, man, but he's got to shut his mouth. You know, he's signaling to the elite everything that he's going to do. He's putting out all these videos. I mean, they're great videos. Don't get me wrong. I'm real happy to what he's saying he's going to do. But these people, I mean, when you tell people, okay, I'm coming in and I'm going to do this, that, and the other, man, I'm telling you, he's giving some major incentive for them to wipe him out. I mean, he better have some food tasters, and the security better be top notch. I mean, I know he wanted to go to that fight, and the whole crowd loved him. But damn, I mean, there's a lot of people gunning for him. I mean, remember that he's Hitler, right? Hitler just went to Washington, D.C. and met with Joe Biden. They said, we're going to have a nice, smooth transition. Yeah, Hitler, oh yeah. The Democrats were going on and on about Trump is Hitler. He's gonna throw you all in cages. He's gonna bring in the military. He's gonna declare martial law. And then, of course, none of that's so far from the truth. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, the thing is, Democrats still believe that stuff. Dumber than a bag of stones. I mean, here's Biden inviting Trump into the White House. They're shaking hands and smiling at each other. Oh my goodness gracious, something else. All right, well that's all I got off the top of my head for now. We'll continue the video here in just a minute. Let's get one more look out. So I wanted to get a nature shot here of these trees. Look at that, isn't that awesome? Anyway, we'll just keep it off of my mug. The next story was the phone call Schultz called Putin. And the shocking part was that Putin took the call. I mean, they haven't talked for, well, since the war started back in what, February of 2022, as far as I know. And I also I got the wind muff on my speaker this time. So maybe you're not hearing the crunch, crunch, crunch of the leaves, which would be cool if it works. Anyway, so basically the gist of it went, well, Putin, he didn't say it quite this way, but he said, look, I've been open to peace this whole time. And, you're the ones who violated the Minsk Accords. We were perfectly willing to go along with that plan. And then you told us you did it so that you could arm Ukraine to try to take us out. So what do you want me to say, Schultz? I mean, and also the other story was, and so I guess it kind of ended right there. I always like Alex the Duran. He calls him the pirate Schultz. Arr, Pirate Schultz, because he had that eye patch on for a while. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't even know why Schultz called, other than to just he was saying, we need to start working on peace. Well, Putin's been willing to do that all along. I don't even know. But then the other story was Austria. So Austria got a bunch of gas from Russia. I guess there's a pipeline that goes in there, natural gas, and it was worth, I want to say I've heard two different numbers, but I want to say it was $120 million. I mean, not chump change at all. And Austria, for whatever reason, I guess because of the sanctions, they said, well, we're not going to pay for that gas. And they took it to a European court, and the court decided in their favor that, they don't have to pay for the gas. So Russia said, well, okay, fine, if that's what you want to do, we'll just cut your gas off. so they cut the gas off. And you'd say, okay, well, that all makes sense, and Russia's out $120 million. That should be the end of it, right? No, then you got Ursula von der Crazy, as Alex calls her. She comes out and she starts bitching about the fact how Russia is a tyrant who's cut off their gas to Austria. I'm like, well, what did you expect them to do? You give them free gas forever? I mean, what the hell? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, if you went and did, I mean, just think about it. If you went and did put a roof on a house, and then they said, well, I'm not going to pay you for it, and you're only half done, you'd say, well, you know what? I'm not going to finish your roof. So good luck, whatever. I mean, just anything like that. But I mean, this Ursula woman is just a vacuous meat puppet, man. Oh my God. By the way, just on a private note here, there's a lot of bear in this area. So I'm keeping an eye out. I shouldn't have taken this trail because it's too long, and it's gonna really get dark on me from the way back. So it's not good to be back here in the dark, and I don't even have bear spray. I wasn't gonna do the trail, but I'm just scouting it out. I actually do hikes with the Nature Explorers Club in my community. So anyway, yeah, alrighty. That was just two more stories, but I just thought that was cute about Vanderland going, that Putin monster, he's cut off the gas to Austria. And that's another thing. There's a pipeline that goes into Germany, and Germany can cut the gas on anytime they want. Putin said, yeah, he'll sell them gas if they want it. But no, they're going to get liquefied natural gas from the United States. And you know how much more that's going to cost? I mean, what the process from taking natural gas and liquefying it, shipping it across the ocean, and getting it all the way to Germany. Of course, I think that, isn't Germany landlocked? I don't recall them being, but maybe they're not, because during the war they had submarines. But anyway, so you got to get the gas all the way over there, and then unliquefy it. I mean, can you imagine? It's at least a third more expensive. I bet it might be twice as much as if they just turned the nozzle on and started pumping in the gas. And I dare say Russia would be amiable to rebuilding the Nord Stream 2 pipeline if Germany foot most of the bill. So they could get that pipeline back up and running. I'm not sure. I mean, that'd be a hell of an effort, though, wouldn't it? I mean, the U.S., Joe Biden blew the ever-living shit out of that pipeline. I mean, there were multiple places where them explosives went off. I mean, my God, I couldn't believe what those divers, you know, they must have placed, I don't know, 10 different spots. They were going to make sure that pipeline wasn't going to be repaired or anything else for a long time. And then, of course, the environmental costs. I can't believe the Democrats haven't said a thing about the environment. I mean, can you imagine how much marine life died that day? I bet there were dead fish and octopi and everything else just floating up on the shores all around that area for months, probably maybe even a year later. I mean, that was like the when the pipe remember the oil rig when they were pumping all that oil into the Gulf of Mexico. That's why I didn't want to eat shrimp coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, because the whole damn Gulf of Mexico was just nothing but an oil field. Anyway, I got bit by a mosquito. Ah, daggone it. The guy did warn me. He said, you don't want to go back in the woods. But I had to check this hike out just to make sure it's going to be okay. All right, that's just 2 more stories for you. Before I get to the tower, look at these clouds. Isn't this amazing? This is so cool. And look at the sun kind of peeking out behind the clouds there. Isn't this awesome? Now I'm going to get you a view of all this from the tower. It goes all the way around. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. I don't know if you can see him. There's a wasp right there. Every time I come up here, there's always bees. Anyway, well, he seems like he's going off, but here's the view from the tower. Got to keep it right. Isn't that amazing? Let's swing it on around. Get you on the other side. All right. And then we'll go over here, get this side. One more view of that sun behind the cloud. All right, let's get into a few replies and a few posts. All right, let's get through a few posts here. This is a clip from Joe Rogan. He says, Obama, during the Kamala Harris campaign, really changed my opinion of him. I used to have a high opinion of him as an intelligent person. Let's watch that video.
We did trust the government, but which is such a weird thing to say. You know, I used to think it was the Obama administration, but boy, Obama during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
Boy. Really? Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, just as an intelligent person, a statesman. I felt like he's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You know, you think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a fucking quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie about Trump, the thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist, which is this thing that I think worked in like 2017. Yeah. You know, I think it worked back then. I don't think it works anymore. I don't think people believe it anymore. I think that we've gotten numb to all this stuff.
Well, it's the sky is falling thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, cry wolf or whatever. It's like, you guys can only call me a fascist so many times. I mean, like the New York Times wrote that article a couple years ago, right? Where I'm like, it was the front of the coffee cup where it's like, do you want Trump 2024? Do you want low taxes? Do you want this? Do you want that? I'm like, I want all that. Sounds good. And like, you can only call me a fascist, racist, asshole. I mean, to be fair, like I can float into the asshole category relatively easy, but you can only call.
All right. So the next post, I don't know, you got to follow this person. I'm enjoying a lot of her posts. Insurrection Barbie. I love the name. I wish I'd come up with something better than ThatCyberSecurityGuy. Of course, I was trying to develop a cybersecurity business, but I don't want to change my Twitter handle now. I guess maybe Insurrection Cyber Guy or something. I don't know. But I always wanted to read this to you because I thought this was really good. People keep saying that Donald Trump wants retribution, but it's not Donald Trump who wants retribution. It's the American people. From the first day that Donald Trump walked into Washington, D.C., Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, the turtle, did everything in their power to stop his agenda while at the same time propping up the fake Russia collusion lies. Remember the Russia hoax? Can you believe they've said that Tulsi Gabbard, I think it was AOC, said Tulsi Gabbard was an agent of Russia. What's the Democrat infatuation with Russia? I mean, I guess anytime that a person goes against their agenda, they're obviously a Russian asset, right? I mean, it's so stupid. It's unbelievable. So these people ran on repealing Obamacare, fixing the issues at the border, but what they did was waste a lot of time, money, and energy propping up the Democrats' fake hoaxes and stalling because they had no intention of carrying out their campaign promises. Yeah, I mean, if you remember back then, the Republicans had said, they were for these things, and then Trump comes in and says, all right, let's do it. And then what do? That the turtle blocks him the turtle's a Democrat. I mean, come on. You know that Mitch McConnell's a Democrat. And now he's got Thune in there. I called Thune the mini me McConnell. Mini me McConnell is Thune. That's what we should be calling him. Mini me thumb. And he's just going to continue with the same thing. He already said that because Trump wanted those recess appointments. And he said, yeah. And then he gets elected Senate Majority Leader. And then he goes back on his word and says, you know what, we might look at these appointments of Trump's cabinet and not in recess. In other words, they're going to bring it to a vote. So he lied again, or the mini-me McConnell. For the past 8 years, we have elected officials and corrupt government bureaucrats use our tax dollars to prosecute American citizens and take down Donald Trump. Donald Trump won this election, and the moment Republicans had to put their money where their mouth was, the American people saw the same condescending, know-it-all swamp creatures. It's not just their reluctance to play on the same team as Trump and the American people. It's the condescending way in which they go to MSDNC and talk down to us. These people don't get it. If these people don't get it together, the bloodbath in 2026 is going to be monumental. Don't say we didn't warn you. You will not win another election if you ignore the will of the people one more time. They're going to ignore the will of the people. So you're going to have to identify the rhinos and vote them out and primary them. That's the only way that we're going to get people in there that's America first, people in the Senate. So that's just the way it is. I do want to post this video because this was great. So, clandestine. It feels like the tide has officially turned. Americans have finally seen through all the bullshit in the media, and the stigma around supporting Trump is completely dead. It feels like the woke mind virus has been neutralized, and Americans are rallying around Trump. And this is just a brief video of the fight that I was telling you about. And he came out and he did the Trump thing, and it was fantastic. I loved it every step of the way. But I did want to get to some replies real quick. Let me go into profile and replies. Okay, so these are the question was, what are your thoughts on Trump's cabinet picks so far? And I said, replying, this is Our Country, Our Choice I'm replying to, and I said, except for Tulsi Gabbard. And, a lot of people say that Robert Kennedy Jr. is a Zionist, but I don't know. I don't think he's completely on board with killing all the Arabs the way that a lot of the people in the Trump administration are. Speaking of that, there was some videos. Maybe I'll throw them in. This video is getting pretty long, but man, Israel is just killing civilians in Beirut by the hundreds, man. I mean, there were bombs taking down apartment buildings. I mean, so there's a lot of people dying in Lebanon, unfortunately, and I guess. We're here in the United States. I guess we're for killing everybody in Lebanon, so that seems to be the case. And I say we, I mean, I'm talking about the people like Mark Levin and Sean Hannity and maybe some of the people in the Trump administration. Who knows? I know I'm not.
Israeli forces have carried out an attack on an area where aid workers were operating in the southern Gazan city of Khan Yunis, killing 5 people and wounding several others. That's according to local media reports. The victims were part of a team delivering humanitarian assistance. Earlier, 72 people were killed and dozens were wounded in an IDF strike on the northern city of Beit Lahia, according to the enclave's health ministry. In total, Sunday's death toll in Gaza reportedly stands at 96 people, with the Israeli army attacking several areas across the strip. A correspondent for our sister channel, RT Arabic, sent us this from the ground.
Preliminary reports indicate that 96 casualties have been recorded in the northern neighborhoods of the Gaza Strip due to airstrikes on residential buildings. In the Beit Lahia area, these strikes specifically targeted peaceful civilians inside their homes. State media reports that these buildings were constructed on solid foundations, with one sheltering around 70 citizens and refugees. The operation to recover the deceased and missing individuals trapped under the rubble is still underway. However, civilians and volunteers are facing significant challenges in reaching the site of the strike due to fears of further attacks by the Israeli army. Civil defense has restricted access to the 5-story building, yet cries for help continue. The shelling of a residential building in the Gabayan area has resulted in 50 fatalities, with dozens of individuals still unaccounted for and many believed to be trapped under the debris. Consequently, the number of casualties in northern Gaza is expected to rise following this series of strikes. The Israeli military has conducted attacks from naval vessels along the coast of Khan Yunis as well. As a result, the death toll is likely to keep rising amid the dire and complex humanitarian crisis in the enclave. With severe shortages of food, medicine, and medical supplies across the southern, central, and northern provinces of the Gaza Strip, the situation remains extremely critical.
And I said most of Trump's picks are Zionists who want war with Iran. And then it says rate Trump's cabinet picks on a scale 1 to 10. This was Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. So I went ahead and I did it. And the best pick I thought was Tulsi Gabbard. I love Robert Kennedy as the health person. Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, that's number 3. Susie Wells, and then because she's the cabinet minister or something like that. Tom Homan for the border. I mean, I'm just going down the list. Like I said, a puppy-killing machine, Kristi Noem. I like Lee Zeldin, even though he's kind of a Zionist. And then Carolyn Levitt, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's going to be the press secretary. And man, she's a firebrand. You should watch her. She took on CNN and just torched them, man. It was awesome. I won't add that into this video. And then, of course, we got to finish. I finished off with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And then the runner-ups were Jay Clayton and Stephen. So, and then this wasn't a crazy one. It says, my God, I agree with Bernie Sanders. Not only is Tulsi Gabbard anti-war, she's certainly no Russian asset. AOC should be ashamed, saying Tulsi is for war. And that was in response to Bernie Sanders. He says, Tulsi has put her life on the line to defend this country. This is from Bernie Sanders now. Sometimes they shock you, I mean, people can disagree on issues, but it's outrageous for anyone to suggest Tulsi is a foreign asset. Do you agree with Bernie? I agree with Bernie. Anyway, so, and then Elon Musk says legacy media is dying fast. I said, well, that's okay. And George Soros has plenty of money to keep funding MSDNC. Who knows whether he will or won't. Let's see. I want to be clear. This is Representative Jason Crow. I want to be clear on Trump's Operation Ahura. I will always stand with our immigrant community and continue to do everything in my power. This is, I guess he's a Democrat, to protect Coloradans. He's got to be a Democrat of all backgrounds, defend the Constitution, and stand against Trump's worst impulses. And I replied to him. I said, well, I will also. Just not people who violated United States law and entered the country illegally. So I thought that, well, I just sometimes, you got to revel in your replies, even though I'm sure I read all my replies. I don't know. I'm sure they don't. And then it says, Elon Musk, the radical left is at it again. Same playbook. They accuse anyone who says illegal votes are being counted of being a far right wing conspiracy theorist. It turns out to be happening. they agree it's happening, and now that's actually good. They use lawfare and Democrat election officials to force illegal votes to be counted. This needs to stop. Now, and I kind of agree with this assessment. If you didn't know, the voting is, well, they're still trying to count votes in Pennsylvania. Even though the Supreme Court said that they're illegal votes, they're just ignoring it. And then they're also still counting votes in California. And people are like, well, what's the point? You know, Trump's already won, right? Well, somebody pointed out, maybe they're trying to get the vote count up so that that gap between Kamala and Trump wouldn't be so wide. Because, I mean, that's a huge red flag that there was some shenanigans that went on in 2020. So if they can narrow that gap down a little bit, they can point at it and say, see, it was only 6 million votes instead of 10 million. You know, I guess and that's the only thing I can think of. And then I just replied to it. I said, well, Democrats hate free and fair elections. That's for damn sure. Democrats, they don't even want voter ID, you know. You know that's a recipe for cheating. I guess we better tie the video off right there. And Mr. Wasp is back just in time. Peace out. Stay free. Remember when I'd be backpacking? I never took videos back then. I don't even know if you could. But I'd always take that picture right there. That's my favorite thing. Man, and after you've hiked all day with a 60-pound pack on your back, you get there and you've eaten your meal, your mountain house, and you know now you're just kind of sitting out on a rock enjoying the evening, getting you know when you're going to bed soon, it's going to be dark, and you're looking at that sunset. Isn't that awesome? One view of the final seconds of the sunset. Watch how fast it goes down. See how it's you can actually see it moving. I'll just stop moving and watch it. Isn't that crazy? There it goes. Going. Look at the birds. Glad we got those on the video. All right, I'm gonna say that's gone. All right, I'm getting too much of the sunset, but look at that. Looks like those clouds are on fire, doesn't it? That is a cool look with those clouds. Isn't that cool? All right, I guess that's it.